At the Cliff House, Steffi tells Taylor her freedom is all that matters. Taylor persists that she has to turn herself in for shooting Bill. There would be no more blackmail and Sheila would be behind bars. Steffi tells her mother there's no way she'll let her go to jail. Taylor insists the only way to ensure her daughter's safety is for her to confess. I have to tell the police. At the cabin, Brooke asks Katie not to make Taylor's burden of guilt any heavier. Katie understands her protectiveness as a mother, but for her to snap in such a brutal way, her feelings are much more conflicted for Taylor now that she knows she shot Bill. At Forrester, Hope looks at a sketch with grave concern. Thomas enters and asks her not to call security. He's there to see her and to offer his services. Again, Hope informs Thomas that he can't keep doing this. He's well aware that he's not welcome there, but feels everyone is making a terrible mistake. Thomas says Hope needs him. The line needs him. He's worried about her. Hope tells Thomas his fake CPS call harmed a lot of people. Thomas gets it, and he's sure Douglas is wondering how his dad could do such a thing. Hope muses that a lot of people are wondering. She points out he made a choice and is now suffering the consequences. Thomas says she's suffering the consequences too. He references the reviews on her line and says he has designs ready that could go into production right away. Hope rails about him squandering his potential because he keeps doing these inexcusable things. Thomas is so sorry. Please just let me come back and help. Let me do that for you. Hope says it's not her decision. Thomas thinks if she were to push his dad and sister, she could get them to bring him back to design for her again at the cabin. Katie rails that if the bullet had been a millimeter to the right or left, she and Will would have lost Bill. Taylor got lucky. Brooke muses that her friend wouldn't have been able to live with herself. Katie feels it must be a hard thing to accept about yourself that you can take a human life. It wasn't an accident. Brooke narrows her eyes and says Taylor wasn't in her right mind. Bill didn't even want her to go to jail. The only reason this came up again was because of Sheila. She won't let Taylor suffer for Sheila Carter. At the Cliff House, Taylor and Steffi continue bickering about her plan to turn herself in. Steffi reminds her there is no guarantee that if she does it, Sheila will go to jail. She and the kids need her. Promise me you're not going to turn yourself in. Taylor recaps that she didn't go to Bill's house that night to hurt him. I snapped. I shot someone. Steffi says shooting Bill made her more compassionate. Now it's time to show yourself some mercy. Taylor thanks her daughter for her kind words. Steffi begs her not to turn herself in. Taylor grimaces. I have to go home. Steffi urges her to stay with them for a while. Taylor tells her daughter that watching her grow into the woman she's become has been the biggest joy of her life. Steffi assures there's more to come and hugs her. Taylor leaves. At Forrester, Thomas and Hope go over his fate being in the hands of his father and sister. Hope warns they're pretty upset with him. Thomas looks at the sketch she was holding and remarks on the obvious neckline. He declares, "Come on, Hope. This isn't hope for the future." At the cabin, Brooke understands why Katie is shaken by the news about Taylor shooting Bill. She just hopes the feelings are temporary and she can show Taylor some grace. Suddenly, Steffi calls out and comes through the door looking for Brooke. Katie leaves. Steffi tells Brooke she's really worried about her mom. At the beach house, Taylor paces and flashes to the night Bill was shot. She shakes her head, pulls out a pad and paper, and sits down. Nodding, she braces herself and begins writing. It's time for the truth to come out. At Forrester, Thomas continues to critique the design in the sketch. It's wonderful and elegant. It's definitely a Forrester. But it's not a Thomas Forrester. Did that sound too arrogant? Hope marvels at his gall. Thomas offers to work off campus if she'll just bring him back to the team. Come on, Hope. Just say yes. At the cabin, Brooke's appalled to hear that Taylor is still talking about turning herself in and comparing herself to Sheila. Steffi explains her guilt is eating at her and she's alone in the beach house. She won't move back in with them because she feels like a burden. Brooke vows to be there for Steffi and Taylor.